Hi, I'm Joyce Sportsman, founder of T.R.Y, Trauma Recovery Yoga.
And I'm Darwin Losen, co-founder of T.R.Y, Trauma Recovery Yoga.
T.R.Y exists because I am polytraumatic. I suffered multiple traumas through my life, from a terrible domestic abuse situation to sexual trauma to most recently, 4 years ago, watching the passing of my son after he was run over by a train and lost his legs. But T.R.Y wouldn't exist had I not gone through the trauma of losing my son Jacob. And Jacob was an inspirational young man. At 22 years old, he studied neurolinguistic programming. He ranted about chemtrails and fluoride in the water and the injustices of our prison system and the way the country was being run. And he was about citing your sources and doing the research and getting other people informed. Inform everybody. You know, he wasn't just ranting. He wanted to take action. And one of the things Jacob was most proud of me for was my work with, I was just starting out my work with Yoga Gangster, which is no longer, but it was a nonprofit foundation out of Florida that I had trained for to bring yoga and meditation to people in the prison system or transitional housing for behavioral issue young people. So halfway houses, juvenile detention centers, prisons, and detention centers. So we were doing that work, and Jacob was in the Navy, and we talked a lot, and he was like, Ma, out of all the things you do, like, I am most proud of this work. And I never forgot that he said that. And he, after saying that to me, he was home for a short while after 2 9-month deployments, traveling the world. And the reason he joined the Navy in the first place is he wanted to do humanitarian missions, which he did get to do some of. He was in Somalia, working in Africa, helping for fresh water and food and for the locals there. And he traveled the world, and then after 2 9-month underways, he came back to the States, and he was in Virginia on his 22nd birthday and jumped on a moving train and lost his life. But it was 9 days before he actually passed, and I was with him at his bedside, and he was in and out of consciousness, and there were many, many beautiful moments in that time. The best of which, the biggest unselfish thing my Buddhist philosophy studying 22-year-old Matt Damon looking, big blue eye, muscly, half sleeve tattoo boy did for me, his mama, as he lie there after many surgeries and kidneys failing, and this is it, tomorrow, next day. One night they said, this is it, do you want the chaplain? And I said no. And then they said, okay, and they looked really confused, but I just knew that no. So they went back in the room, and they were working on him, and the door was closed, and I was waiting there, shaking, and then they came back out and said, ma'am, he wants to talk to you. And I said, okay. What? And they're like, yeah, duh. And he had a trach in, and he looked at me with big blue eyes. By the way, he didn't have a scratch on his face or anywhere on his body. He was just missing his legs. And big blue eyes like a toddler, like a little my baby, and he said, Ma, I'm going to be okay. Because he saw where he was going, and he fought back selflessly to let me know that beyond this is something greater, and that he was ready. And so I was ready, and so I let him go the next day. And for that gift that he gave me, taught me more than I could have ever learned in my whole life. In those 9 days, I learned more than I knew my whole life before that. And letting go of him and finding a new normal after that was difficult.
And the things that I saw during those 9 days haunted me. And for flashbacks and heartbreak, there were so many lovely moments of music and positive quotes and I love yous. So what a beautiful piece of art, this tragedy and beauty mixed together in that time. And I'm blessed that he made it to the hospital, and I'm blessed that he got to come back and tell me that, and to just have him in my life. And I am blessed to continue his work that he was unable to finish in that body. For whatever reason, he's passed that to me, and maybe it's a 52-year-old woman gets taken a little more serious than a 22-year-old dude. I don't know, but I'm here, and the mission is clear.
That's okay. That's where we're going.
And the mission is clear, so we're good?
Yep. That was great. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah. You're welcome. Thanks for asking. People are afraid to ask. But if you ask, generally people have something beautiful to tell you about what happened for them in their trauma.
Definitely.
But you ask, and specifically sometimes I'll ask people, well, what was the higher purpose? Tell me about the beauty. Where were the helpers? Tell me about that side of it, because it exists. The trauma cannot exist on its own. There's the other side of it. Somewhere, somebody reached out to you that you didn't expect. The best thing anyone said to me was this little old man named Rick Passo. He's from downtown. This is a little Jewish man. And he said, may your loss be a blessing. And you can only say that if you have suffered, and you can say that to someone because you know that's where the hope lies, right? That's where the hope lies. And that loss was my biggest loss, is my biggest blessing. Yeah. And that's the gift that I want to bring to other people.